So it gives me great pleasure to kick off this afternoon's report out from the latest RPIW in outpatients. It doesn't seem 5 days ago that I was in this room encouraging people to think differently, work hard, enjoy themselves, impress Greg, who's our observer from the centre, but most importantly, use your skills and your everyday experience to improve this kind of inch-wide, now mile-deep process of improving the prep of notes for a clinic. You are the experts, that's what I said, that's what I believed. We couldn't make the changes for you, you needed to make the changes for us. So I'm really looking forward now to hearing how you got on. Outpatients is by far the most valuable value stream, so well done. And let's just see how you got on, so thank you.
Hello, thank you all for coming this afternoon. My name is Helen and I've been the workshop leader for this Rapid Process Improvement Workshop. So Rapid Process Improvement Workshop is a 5-day event in which a group of people who do the work come together and improve the work. So the boundaries of the project we've been looking at this week are from when the IFIT pull list is generated by the medical records supervisor, all the way through from when the notes are delivered to the outpatient department clinic. We've had 12 people on the RPIW team this week, and these have included a medical records manager, an information analyst, an IT analyst, a service manager, medical records clerks, the ophthalmology department manager, and an outpatient receptionist. We've also had a larger advisory team from across the trust, and these have helped us and supported us throughout the week. These have included estates and facilities, the chief of medicine, pharmacy team, and service managers. This is the project form which has been used to guide our work this week. On the right-hand side, you'll see lots of Kaizen bursts, and these are all opportunities for improvement which we've identified during the planning process for this RPIW, through direct observations and through talking to staff. And it's these that we've addressed this week. So I'd like to share some of that work with you.
Hello, my name's Allana and I've been the team leader for the RPIW this week. In preparation for the week, the KPO team have spent the last 6 to 7 weeks out on the Gemba, the place where the work is done. We've observed and spoken to all of the operators involved in the process of preparing the medical notes required for upcoming surgical clinics. This has enabled us to gain a greater understanding of the current state. We've formulated a target progress report in which we have captured baseline metrics from which we could measure any improvements implemented. Our sponsor Ben Emley has set challenges for the team based on these metrics. From the data collected, the TAC time for the process is 4 minutes. TAC time is defined as the pace of customer demand. The medical records clerks work 8 hours a day with time for breaks, which equates to 2,250 minutes. There is a mode of 506 patients per day requiring medical records from the team. This means every 4 minutes a set of notes needs to be leaving each cycle of the value stream if the demand is to be met.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Phil Stone. I'm the Medical Records Manager. I'm also the Process Owner and a member of the RPIW team. The Medical Records value stream is the largest value stream that has so far been tackled by the KPO team. It consists of 8 cycle boxes and has a total lead time of 7 days. We started the week knowing we had 10 teams doing the same thing differently. And as we started to gather data, we quickly identified that even within the teams, there was variation. Therefore, my key objective for the week was to look for ideas and solutions that would lead to a system of standard work. During the weeks prior to the RPIW, we generated 30 ideas for improvement. By the end of Monday, this had risen to 140 ideas that I now believe is the future target for all RPIWs to meet. Our team would now like to share some of these ideas with you and show how we intend to implement them.
Hello, my name is Shoba and I'm a senior information analyst. This week we have looked at the reports used by medical records and see how these could be improved. The daily IFIT pull list takes 40 minutes to print and sort. By automating the sorting and grouping by location and specialties, the list now takes under 9 minutes to produce. Good afternoon, my name is Becky and I'm one of the medical records supervisors. We've also redesigned our current clinic day sheets the teams currently use. Previously, this could take up to 90 minutes to produce due to having to manually select the clinics that are running. This is now being reduced to 30 seconds.
We have also been able to create a couple of new reports. The late booking report, which means medical record staff will no longer need to manually check individual clinic lists, hence saving time. The Volumising report. This report shows all patients' notes that need Volumising well in advance before they are due to be seen.
A new clinic list. We can now introduce standard working as there is a tick box system at the end of the sheet rather than having different markings on the clinic sheet, as shown on the screen. There is a direct link to the patient's letter and the note's current location.
In future, these forms can be updated online, allowing us to produce progress report by team and reduce printing.
When looking through the idea forms, it has highlighted the need for a daily team huddle and a communication board. We viewed Pharmacy's huddle and from this have created a plan on how we will implement one in medical records. Overall, we have been able to save time by reducing our over-processing, reducing waste and introduce standard working.
Hello, I'm Adrian Compton, Senior EPR Analyst. A stopper line was identified whilst preparing for this RPIW. Despite certain warning messages, some patients' appointments are being booked to the wrong hospital. Currently, they are being found by medical records staff while prepping the clinics. Where possible, they are alerting either the secretary or OBO. A report is therefore being written to identify these incorrectly booked appointments. This has highlighted 113 cases over the next 6 weeks period. The report will now be owned and actioned by OBO, thereby removing this responsibility from medical records staff. Correcting these appointments will stop patients travelling to the wrong hospital. The report will also be used to identify staff booking these appointments so that they can be approached and, if necessary, retrained. We also need to prevent booking staff from being able to schedule appointments to the wrong location. Currently, staff are able to override the warning message which alerts them to the fact that they are booking to the wrong slot. By improving booking security, it is possible to remove the ability to override. Ultimately, this will prevent users from booking to the wrong hospital, clinic and slot. However, a large amount of work will be required to reach this future state. It will need to be identified why users are booking to the wrong slot. Clinic templates will need to be reviewed and possibly rebuilt to accommodate this change. We've also been asked to ensure that all booking staff are alerted to appointment conflicts and future appointments when scheduling. We've approached CERN to see whether they can apply out these settings to all existing booking staff. We'll also look to apply these options to the new users.
Hello, my name's Becky. This week on the RPIW workshop, we've been looking at standardising the work done by the medical records team. We chose the following areas to look at: volumising, clinic prepping, introducing the spider chart, and audit sheets. We established that one of the areas that our colleagues were not confident in was volumising, and after going out on the Gemba and talking to our colleagues, we had very open and honest answers, suggesting that some people would try and avoid volumising altogether. We agreed that we would all benefit from volumising workshop sessions so that we can all produce volumised notes of a better quality and with relevant information inside for the clinicians, therefore providing a better patient experience. We also thought that it would be a good idea to do a 5S style process with the notes and make a mock volume for the medical records team that would provide a visual standard tool that people could refer to. Dr Mearns kindly met up with us to give us some guidance and ideas from a clinician's perspective regarding what is and isn't necessary to be transferred from the old volume to the new. We identified that when done, we do appear to be doing a good job with our volumising, but have identified a couple of areas for improvement that we will be looking at in the future.
Hi, my name is Angie. This week we have been looking at standardising how clinics are prepped. Firstly, standardisation is not a bad thing. It's not a fancy way to clone everyone, it's about making life simpler for all concerned. Is it possible to standardise? We set a simple task involving a spider chart and bullet points. Staff were asked to arrange the steps around the spider in the order of work. The results that we received back showed that overall only steps 1 and 2 were executed the same for a department doing almost identical jobs, It clearly highlighted everybody, without exception, worked totally different. Currently, with the steps involved to prepare a clinic from start to finish, it's not possible to standardise the ways we work. However, from this process, Becky and myself have managed to tweak the current audit sheets, and instead of manually producing these, they can be produced on the computer. As part of the general surgery team, who tried and tested various elements before this week, the prep of a set of notes took 1 minute 41 seconds. With the new audit sheet, it took 41 seconds, a positive record.
Hi, my name's Rachel. Having a newly built medical records department and reception, we needed to make it more people-friendly and to improve the process and efficiency of case note tracking, and so the express checkout was created. On this RPIW, we had an opportunity to 5S the main reception area within the department, and we did this by using visual control. This means we made the express checkout instructions prominent, eye-catching, and close to the computer. We will have ongoing PDSA cycles to look at with 3 of the following areas. Firstly, we'll be adding another computer on the desk. Secondly, we'll be looking at implementing a receptionist to deal with all queries and to monitor all notes being tracked. Thirdly, we'll be creating individual ID logins on the express checkout system. The benefits of this will help to improve the flow through medical records and to ensure all notes are tracked correctly before leaving the department.
Hi, I'm Jackie. I helped address the use of shelving for pooled and prepared clinics. The problem will be solved by separating the areas for the pooled notes and prepared notes. We'll introduce coloured dividers with visual control for each speciality, showing consultant, date, AM, PM and how many bundles for that clinic. This helps evening pullers quickly identify each speciality to put on designated shelf. This in turn can be followed through by the prepping teams with colour divider clearly showing specialities. They then place on prepped shelf ready for collection. We'll also be introducing a runner system of 2 team members to take larger trolleys with all specialities to OPD, Chipstead and Fracture Clinic. This reduces impact on a busy OPD, with now only 2 members of staff arriving with larger volumes of clinics instead of individual team members arriving all at once. This can sometimes be 10 trolleys with 10 people turning up. The runners would deliver twice a day at an agreed time with OPD.
Hello, my name's Lucy. I'm a receptionist in the outpatients team. We were tasked this week with implementing the 5S strategy in the storage area behind the 2B reception desk. This room is in constant use for receiving incoming clinic notes for medical records and storing post-clinic patient notes for secretaries to collect to return to their offices. It is also a central storage for stationery supplies for outpatient reception teams across 5 different locations. As part of this simplifying process, we removed outdated clinic signage and redistributed 16,000 small plain non-window envelopes to several wards around the trust. The impact of this is space to reorganise relevant stationery, ensuring everything has a proper place. While reviewing these aspects, we discovered patient notes were being stored and sometimes prepared in a dirty utility room in Chipstead Clinic. This was a serious breach of infection control policies, and Stop the Line was put in place immediately to ensure this would not happen again.
Hello, my name is Sharon. I'm the service lead for Dictate IT. We also looked to address the core reasons why clinic notes remained in outpatients for several days following a consultation. We attended the Medical Secretary Forum meeting and discussed the impact of delayed notes collection, reviewed options which would fit each specialty, and a process was agreed. The General Surgical Medical Secretaries have established a rota which ensures notes are collected twice daily and periods of leave are covered. A buddy system will be implemented for lone workers. These revised processes have been added to the Medical Secretary SOP, ensuring standardisation across the
At the Medical Secretary Forum, we also achieved consensus for the rollout of the red tray system. This is where an email is sent to the Secretary Group email accounts by 9 AM, requesting urgently required notes, which then need to be ready for collection by 7 AM the next working day. The benefits include less waiting time for medical record staff and less competing demands at peak times for secretaries. To encourage notes to be released, we have shared the idea of boomerang slips, where notes can be returned to secretaries. This procedure has also been included in the SOPs. In addressing the 5S challenge, we created a staging area closest to the door for clinical support staff to better collect notes to be taken into clinic rooms. We did this by replacing a large table with dedicated shelving. So in summary, we achieved buy-in, standardisation, waste reduction, we minimised risk and improved workflow. So, some examples of some of the metrics on the target progress report that have been positively impacted during the week include time spent generating the IFIT pull list has gone from 40 minutes 32 seconds to under 9 minutes. The number of sets of notes each medical records clerk has to leave the department to find and collect per day has gone from 5 sets of notes to 3 sets of notes. A new electronic process to check any changes to clinic status will reduce the manual rechecks undertaken on 291 patients on clinic lists each day to 0. The standard worksheet shows reduced walking time for the evening pullers, as they will now be tracking notes they find in flow rather than removing notes from the library to track only to return them soon afterwards. The new percent load chart reflects the reduced time spent by clerks prepping the notes. The team will continue to use Plan, Do, Study, Act cycles on the Gemba to test the timings against their newly created standard work.
We believe that implementing the ideas you've heard here today will greatly improve our processes, remove current barriers and reduce our overall lead time. And this can be seen reflected in our future value stream map. Going forward, we have now completed our newspaper. Our newspaper contains all the ideas that we're currently working on and ones that we're yet to be implemented. And it will be the newspaper that we use to show our progress at 30, 60 and 90 days. At this point, I would like to thank all who have participated in the RPIW. The level of enthusiasm, energy and quality of ideas has been absolutely fantastic, and I am confident that this will turn out to be one of the best and most productive RPIWs ever.
So as you have heard, this week has been fantastic. There's been great energy and enthusiasm from all of the team members. The home teams in medical records and outpatients have been extremely supportive and collaborated with the RPIW team. We've had some significant achievements and we've learnt many lessons, some of which include: don't take for granted the way you do things is the only way to do things. Be brave and challenge the status quo. And talking to people face to face can be more effective than an email trail. We haven't been able to do this work on our own this week, and there's many people from across the Trust who we'd like to thank. I'd like to hand you over to our sponsor, Ben Emily, for some closing comments.
Hello, I'm Ben Emily, and I was the sponsor for the week. And as well as the formal challenges that you saw there was also one I said at the beginning of the week, which was to A, enjoy yourself. I think looking around the room, everyone did. And the enthusiasm I've seen as people have been walking around and coming to our office, was great. Also to imagine anything is possible. I think you have taken that and come up with some great solutions. Embrace technology, which is obviously close to my heart in my role, and come up with some things that can quickly roll out across the whole department, not just the surgery team, and evolve and drive more change going forward. So I just wanted to say thank you, and I look forward to the 30-day report out to see what happens next.
Thank you very much. Yes.